All right. Good morning, everybody. Well, at least it's morning for me. I'm in California right now. Sports Chiropractic World, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm super excited for today's Facebook Live event. Today we have Professor Christina Cunliffe. She obtained her PhD from the University of Manchester in 1978 and is a graduate of the McTimoney College of Chiropractic. She was awarded the personal chair from the University of Wales in 2010. A Chartered Biologist, she is a fellow of the Royal Society of Biology and a fellow of the Royal College of Chiropractors. She served for many years on the regulatory body for chiropractic, the General Chiropractic Council, and was a member of its education committee and was also Dean of the School of Health within BPP University and was a member of the university board. She now leads the College of Health, an independent higher education institution accredited by the UK Higher Education Regulator. This incorporates the McTimoney College of Chiropractic, located in Oxfordshire and Manchester, where she has been principal since 1988. She's also visiting lecturer of a number of other universities and medical schools. Christina maintains her multidisciplinary health clinic in Oxfordshire countryside. Christina, welcome.
Great, lovely to be here. Thank you.
So great to see you again. And we've got an amazing announcement to make around the World Olympians Scholarship Program. So for those of you that don't know about the program, Dr. Tom Hyde, world-renowned sports chiropractor, my very good friend and mentor, had this brainchild that Olympic athletes who were getting amazing results from chiropractic and just singing chiropractic's praises, once they ended their Olympic career and wanted to move on to whatever career they decided to move on to, maybe, just maybe, they could become chiropractors and they could represent both the Olympic movement and chiropractic around the world. And so Tom had this great idea and went to some of the chiropractic colleges in North America and said, hey, what if we were to offer some scholarships to Olympic athletes? And Tom could be very persuasive. He's a very intelligent and eloquent man. And he got 10 and a half schools. And I say half because some of the schools gave half scholarships, which is great. And he got 10 and a half schools in North America to offer full ride scholarships to Olympic athletes. Since Tom has stepped down as chair, I've taken over, and I am super excited for Christina to make an announcement today around McTimoney College of Chiropractic. So Christina, what say you to the world today?
Well, I was very excited about this program when you told me about it for a number of different reasons. Exactly, what you said. For me, chiropractic is, of course, we deal with aches and pains and goodness knows what else. But one of the things that I think chiropractic is about performance. And it's that general sense of health and well-being. And for me, sports chiropractic absolutely encompasses that, because it's about doing the best that you can do, being the best that you can be. And sportsmen encapsulate that. And I see a number of sports people at different levels, within my own clinical practice. And that's what it's all about, getting that extra little bit of performance out of them to be and to achieve. And so when you see, Olympians, you think, whoa, what could they do if everything was just right in their bodies? And certainly the 2012 Olympics here in the UK was a big impetus for us in the UK with regard to the Olympic movement. For me, that was really what started my thinking. So when you approached me with this idea, my immediate reaction was yes. And my second one was, how do we do it? So that was really what got me engaged with the whole thing. I'm wearing my British badge today, you see, just to prove that we're in England. The other thing that really attracted me was, we at McTimoney College have been training chiropractors for 50 years now. And yes, we do it in the same way that other chiropractic colleges do it, with a September start, traditional learning. But something we have always specialized in is recognizing, sometimes with more mature people, they have different styles of learning, different requirements, different lifestyle pressures on them. And so our 5-year master's program is specifically designed for people who are doing career changes, have lives, families, work commitments. And it seemed to me that this was ideally suited to people who are spending their lives doing high levels of intensive training, every day and that sort of thing. And can they suddenly stop that and suddenly learn to be a chiropractor? Well, the answer is no. I mean, what we do, and that's why I really thought it would be helpful for us to step forward, is to provide that opportunity for someone who wants to train to do the best they can as an Olympian, to alongside that also fit it in with training to be the chiropractor that they want to be. And so those two things together really came together, and I thought, I think we could be ideally suited here to make a difference in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you all are literally the first program that has stepped up to the plate and said, yes, we're going to participate. So it's amazing. I think it's historical, what you've done. And I just want to thank you. It's just a phenomenal step forward for chiropractic, and certainly the Olympic athletes and other athletes and the population at large that we serve. You mentioned kind of this, education, lifestyle balance. And we've had Olympians go through the program in North America and also still participate in the Olympics. So I think that's a really relevant point, because they want to be able to do both. They want to be able to still maintain their athletic career as well as get ready for the next chapter of their life. In McTimoney, it is a master's program. It's different in the US. It's a doctorate program. Maybe talk a little bit about what the educational path is for students, the types of courses that they're taking, what happens during those 5 years for those of us in North America that are not really familiar with the European or the British system.
Yeah, no, definitely. The standard program is a 4 years master's program, and that's what we refer to as the registerable qualification. And all of our programs are accredited not only by the General Chiropractic Council, which is the regulatory body for chiropractic in the United Kingdom, but also by the ECCE, the European Council on Chiropractic Education, which is the equivalent of the CCE in America, and so on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the programs are fully accredited in that way. So for entry level, you either have to have what we call our A levels, basic entry level, or we also run an access program, because sometimes people don't have that basic level of education, and we run a 1 year access program that allows them to meet that. So when you actually get onto the master's program itself, the first year is basically all around the basic sciences that you would expect. The second year is around applying those sciences. So the program very much takes you step by step through what you need to learn. The third year is all around preclinical. Mm-hmm. And then on the 4 year program, the final year is your year, frankly, in clinical practice, working with real patients. Now, what we do across every year of the program is we have underpinning modules, because basically if you were doing that, you could be on a medical program. So what is it that turns you into a chiropractor? Essentially, there are 3 modules that run across every single year. Philosophy. We run a module on the philosophy of chiropractic in every single year. And, philosophy involves business law and ethics. So that's also about how to build a practice and how to take your skills and, learn how to set up your own practice in the future. We also run research across every year of the program, because we are very evidence-based, and I think we have a good evidence-based culture here within the college. We also run another module called clinic studies. So if you've learned something in your academic learning, it's like, well, what does that mean in terms of your clinical experiences? So integrating it into the clinic. And one of the things that we've been commended on this actually by the accrediting bodies, we actually bring real patients in to talk about their real situations, because you could be learning about Parkinson's disease in clinical medicine. But what does that mean for a real patient, and how has chiropractic helped them? So we use that very much as a way of, as I say, integrating the academic learning into the clinical chiropractic environment. And of course, across every year of the program, you've got your chiropractic studies where you're learning your technique and, doing your dark and devilish deeds as Justin. Now, the difference with our 5 year program, and the clues in, it's over 5 years. It's the first year is the same. The clinic year is the same. It's just spread over a slightly longer period to allow those that have other pressures in their lives to pace their learning in a slightly different way. And we start that in the January of each year. And that is done on a mode of learning which involves those students coming in for a long weekend every month, plus spring and summer schools. They have to complete exactly the same learning, exactly the same assessments, but we can manage it in a way that allows them to take a less traditional route to complete their studies.
That is amazing and so thoughtful, actually, for people who want to be chiropractors and have these other life challenges. That's phenomenal. Christina, you have an incredibly impressive bio. Let's just talk a little bit about you for a second. You know, you're obviously a practicing chiropractor, and you've got these major roles that you've played in chiropractic. Tell us a little bit about how you got into academia.
Well, it was very interesting. When I qualified as a chiropractor, I was very happy in clinical practice. And it's interesting, isn't it, how these things happen. I'm an opportunist, and the then principal of the college was leaving. And it was just at the time when the first accreditations were going through. And because my background was, I was, before I qualified, I was running a multi-million-pound company. I was a researcher, I had all this background anyway. And I sort of thought, oh, I think that job's got my name on it. And I thought, I'll just do it for a couple of years. And then I'll go back into my practice again. I'll get them through the accreditations. And 25 years later, I'm still here because actually I love it. Do you know what I love? I love turning students on to the power of chiropractic. I love seeing them grow across the journey of the course. I love going to graduation and saying, whoa, lovely to see you all with your cap and gown. So there is a real joy in that. And so I do like teaching. I still teach on the program, but I insist on remaining in my clinical practice because even though I get sucked into academia, I get sucked into politics, it's chiropractic that grounds me, and it's what brought me into this in the first place. So that variety across the piece does interest me. And when I was Dean of the School of Health previously, I was running nursing programs, dentistry programs, psychology programs, whatever, but my heart's chiropractic. And so, this is sort of where I've ended up and where I love to stay. So.
That's amazing. I love how your face lights up when you talk about your role in academia and watching those students go from beginning to the end of their educational journey and become chiropractors. That's amazing. One last question, and then I'll let you go because I know you're extremely busy. Talk to me about your experience in treating athletes in your clinical practice. What has that experience been like, and what can you tell the world and maybe some people who are not chiropractors watching this broadcast about the impact that chiropractic has for athletes?
Yeah, I think it's a multifactorial answer, really. I sometimes joke with students and say the one thing you'll learn about a sports person is they won't listen to what you say. They won't stop what they're doing. They'll just keep doing it because they want to achieve, and that is very much around behavioral science, isn't it?
Yes.
And working with the athlete within what they're willing and prepared to do. But I think it's across a number of different levels. So, I think we all as chiropractors see patients who undertake sporting activities. And it's about not only adjusting them and rebalancing their body, but giving them help and advice about how they can do things in a more balanced way to ensure that they get the best out of what they're doing, that they're not damaging themselves by doing what they're doing. And sometimes the challenge can be getting them to either stop or pull back or do fewer weights or run less far until you get the way that they're doing it correctly balanced. But when I work with high-level athletes, and I do work with a number of people who are in national football clubs and that sort of thing, and tennis, they have a very keen appreciation of how their body works. And what I find with them is it's about advising them about how to tweak things, how to maybe just step slightly differently into the space, so that they can get the best out of it without sending them backwards. But they're looking for that last little millimeter, that last extra burst of activity. But I do find high-level sports people are very open to hearing about that, because they've got a team of people around them,
Right.
who are helping them to do that. And they're very open to listening how to do that. And for me, it's about the teamwork at that higher level, because everyone has a piece to give to the puzzle. But at lower levels of people who undertake sporting activities, I think sometimes they just want to keep on and do it. Like runners just want to keep running, and they don't understand that their technique in running is going to make them perform better. So those behavioral issues with sports people, I find it really interesting to do that, but it can be quite challenging to get them to understand it.
Yes, super insightful. And you mentioned one thing, and I just want to touch on this, and then again, I'll let you go. I could sit here and talk to you all day, Christina. But you mentioned, being part of the healthcare team.
Yeah.
And maybe you could just share, some words of advice for other sports chiropractors that are out there, maybe some that are looking to grow their career in sports chiropractic, and the importance of behaving well and being a team player inside that healthcare team. Maybe just share some final insights on that for us, please.
Yes, and of course we're chiropractors, so we think we're all things to all men. And, we have a huge contribution to make. My goodness, we have an incredible skill set that we can bring to the healthcare mix. But people respond differently. And sometimes, other health professionals, like acupuncturists or physios, all have something that they can bring to that mix. And also, medics, in terms of making sure that the health of the athlete is true as well. The main thing for me in that whole thing is recognizing the importance and the value and where we intervene to best advantage, and being open to the rest of the team and their advantage as well. So it's about getting the proper respect. And I think if you respect others in the healthcare team, they will respect you, because ultimately we shouldn't be profession-centered, we should be patient-centered. And if we genuinely want what's best for that sports person, we should be looking at anything that could be in that mix that would help and assist them. So we need to, in some ways, get our ego out of the way, and just focus on, the objective in terms of getting that person to win that gold medal at the Olympics.
I love it. If you had a microphone, I'd be like, okay, drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
That's amazing advice. Dr. Christina Cunliffe, thank you so much for, one, stepping up and being the first European college to participate in the World Olympian Scholarship Program through FICS, and two, for just being a blessing to the world and the universe. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Look forward to seeing you and speaking with you soon. And be safe, be healthy, and take care.
Thank you. Nice to be here.